Are you tired of feeling like the world is closing in on you? Maybe it's the political climate, or the stress of everyday life, or just the realization that America isn't serving your happiness anymore. If you've ever thought, I need to get the hell up out of here, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to map out a 6, 9, or 12-month relocation strategy to help you make the move with confidence. And if you're ready to do a deep dive, stick around because I've got a resource for you. I have a book called You Too Could Live Abroad, and I'll be talking about it. So let's get started. Did you know that 88% of expats report that their quality of life improved after moving abroad? Not my information. I have a source. It's on the screen. 61% of expats feel happier overall after relocating to a new country. Not my source. The source is on the screen. 70% of expats report that living abroad has positively impacted their mental well being. Not my source. The source is on the screen. I'm just saying. 60% of expats say that they are more optimistic about their future after moving abroad. You already know. We've already done that. Okay. That's all. Okay, so if you are returning to my channel, welcome back. If you are a first time viewer, hello, and let me introduce myself. My name is Cha Jones. I am an expat who lives in Malaysia, but I'm also an expat coach and lifestyle consultant who helps people find a softer life. So today I am going to be talking about how to create a 6, 9, or 12-month relocation strategy. So today is the inauguration at the time of this recording, and everybody is up in arms about what they're going to do. A lot of people are like, I don't want to be in this political climate anymore. Okay. So there are other people who are just like, listen, America's not the same America. Or, you know what? I'm just tired of the grind and I need a softer, more reliable life that will allow me to extend my life versus shorten it. And I get all of those. So that's what we're going to talk about. Let's start with this. Let's start with mindset. I always tell people when they come to work with me, start with your why. Why do you want to relocate? If it's the political climate, state that. If it's the quality of life, state that. If it's personal safety, if it's just you want to seek a new opportunity, start with your why. Your why is important, and that is going to get you to where you need to be. Because whenever you start losing focus, we're going to go back to your why. All right. It's not about running away. It's about moving towards a life that's more aligned with your vision, values, and your goal, right? Whatever your goal may be. If what you are currently living in the situation that you're currently living in is not serving any of those things, then it's time to reevaluate where you are and where you want to be. Set soft life vision. What does that mean, Ty? It means that you describe the lifestyle that you want to live abroad. So, how do you want to wake up every morning? Do you want to wake up to the sound of the water hitting the shore of a beach or rocks? Or do you want to wake up to birds in the jungle? Do you want to wake up to the sounds of another city? So you trade one city for another city? Do you want to be in the mountains? We want to describe what your new life is going to look like. And we want to base everything that we do from this point on that. So, how will the new life contrast your current life? What does that look like? If you've ever vision board, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about designing the life that you want and making it as visual as possible. So, what are you eating now? Where do you live now? What's important to you now? And it doesn't mean that these things aren't important to you where you currently live. It just means that right now you have the opportunity to reinvent yourself. So let's go. That's what we're doing. We're reinventing ourselves and we're moving on. And so the next part is really about researching that place. Because once you get a vision once you get your why, and then you get a vision of what your new life is going to look like, you want to start going to look for that. This is called inspired action. So we are moving towards what that looks like. Let's start with the 6 months. If you want to get up out of here in 6 months, we can do that. But it means that you need to get to work like today, right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. All right, a quick relocation is for somebody that can do this in 6 months. If you can do this in 6 months, again, it's doable, but that means that you have to be like ready, like right now. So, you're going to focus on the destination, securing a visa, downsizing ASAP, and fast tracking savings and liquidating assets. So, let's say you own a house, you need to sell that house, right? Or let's not sell it. Let's go ahead, fix anything that needs to be fixed, and let's go ahead and rent that. Now you have stream of income because now you can make this a rental property. So you have to start thinking about what you need to do. Maybe you don't own a place. Now you live in an apartment. How do you get all that stuff out of the apartment? Um, Maybe if you have an apartment and you have the right situation, you could sublease it. It just really depends on if you're trying to get up out of here in 6 months. First of all, I think that's a very quick time. However, I've done it. So so I know I literally went to Mexico, came back, and two months later had everything liquidated, sold everything in the apartment, put the things that I absolutely wanted into storage, a little bitty box. And but everything is not for everybody. Okay. So it is a quick turnaround. If you have an apartment, your lease is coming up in the next 6 months, you want to go ahead and relocate, this is the time to do it. You just have to move fast. So you need to figure out where you're going, number one, figure out what the entries are as far as like, are you going to have to do a travel visa first until you can qualify for a long term residency or a long term visa? If that's not the case, you can start working on that right now because you have 6 months and you can actually do the qualifications, look it up. And if you're close to an embassy and you need to go to a location where you can't do because some countries you cannot do the visa in country, you have to do it prior to arrival. So you need to look at all of those things. But it's really about assets, liabilities, and letting go of things that no longer serve you. And if that's where you at, let it all go, y'all. So if it's a 9 month strategy, you have a little wiggle room. So this is ideal for those who have moderate preparation time. You're going to focus on multiple destinations, planning finances, and researching housing, right? Because you have a little bit more time, so you have a little bit more flexibility. You want to create a, a skill based work plan or freelance opportunities. Unless you are retiring. So, if you're still in the workforce and you still want to work, or you are retiring but you still want to work and you want to have some stream of income, which I always advise, then this is a time to start looking for those things. If you already are able to work remotely, you just want to make sure that your office knows that. And sometimes people just don't tell, but it depends on the security levels of like the computers that you're going to be taking with you. Are you going to be able to log in on a VPN or not? So those are some things that you want to think about. As a 12-month strategy, you have a little breathe, right? So you want to work on a comprehensive plan for you and your family, or for those who have complex needs in the sense of maybe you have a child that's going with you. Maybe you have to think about schooling. What are those options? Think about how you can put those things in place. And when you're talking about moving the entire family, 12 months, it may sound like, oh, that's 1 year. I got a whole entire year. But there are a lot of things that go within that move that makes it more complex, especially if you're taking family members, whether they're little people or older people. So you have to think about those things. And you also have to think about cultural adaptation. And what do I need to know about this culture I'm moving? Do I speak the language? Can I learn the language like fairly quickly? And can I start working on that now? International community building, and what do you need to know upon arrival? Because again, 1 year goes quickly. All right, so let's talk about choosing the right location. Let's start there. The right location is not the same location that you love while you're traveling. Let me say this for the people in the back, way, way back there. The right location is not always the same location that you love while you're traveling because you're not going on vacation. You're going to live. So, choosing the right location is not based on the same things that you love while you're traveling. So, yes, you might love going to the beach while you're traveling. You may absolutely hate it waking up to the beach every day. Two different things. So when you think about where you're moving, then you want to think about some long term aspects that you may or may not have thought about. And yes, the beach is lovely, and you think you're a beach person, so you're a beach person every day. And then you're like, I'm not really a beach person like that. Maybe you need to live a little further from the beach. I lived in Mexico. I lived 20 minutes from the beach, and I would go as often as I possibly could that in a week, as long as it wasn't raining. But I don't think I could actually live right there on the beach. I think it would become annoying. Just, I'm just thinking. But um, there are so many different aspects that go into finding the right location. Just think about your needs and wants and what annoys you now. Yeah, think about what annoys you now and what it is that you really, really miss not having in your current situation. So, do you live in a city and do you miss quiet? Do you live in a rural place and you miss the city? Sit with yourself. I advise you to, because we're talking about a move, right? And this is not up the street. We're talking about going to a whole nother country. So think about long and hard what it is that you truly want. If you're looking for more affordability, you want to look at some of the places that will allow you to live a more affordable, because I'm trying to get away from that word cheap, but a more affordable location. So you have Mexico, you have Portugal, you have Colombia, you have all of these different places that will give you a more affordable housing and cost of living. Now, I also want to preference this, that when you're thinking about where you're going to relocate, you also want to think about where your money is going to stretch and go longer. So you may have more affordable housing, but the food might be high as hell. For instance, when I was trying to figure out where I was going, I went to Aruba, and Aruba is quite expensive just because. It's an island, but I actually found decent housing that was like within a good, you know, price point. And you can actually buy housing there. But and you're right there in on the beach and all the things. Food is expensive. I got 2 bags and I paid over $100. And I was like, and it wasn't even anything in the bag. And had I known that you shouldn't even buy water in Aruba because they have some of the best quality water, drinking water in the world, wouldn't have done that. However, I had went and I started buying the stuff that you think you need. um, but something like that where, okay, I could have found affordable housing, but my bill for food would have been really expensive. And the other things, transportation and things getting around, would have been a little bit more expensive. So you have to really think about that. Also think about the political and economic stability of that particular country. And you also have to think about, like, if something happens, how do I get out? Um, if you're on an island, and there's a hurricane coming, how do you get out? So think about some of those things that you don't normally think about, because maybe you live inland, maybe you're landlocked right now. Well, you'll be on an island if that's where you're trying to go to have your beach house. Then you think about some of the things that you would normally think about. But I would suggest getting you a good pen and piece of paper and writing those things down. Also, think about how easy it's going to be to get the visa. Like if you're going to move to Mexico, and I'm preferencing places that are close to America because those are easier places. But Mexico, getting a residency or temporary residency is not that difficult. You just have to meet some income requirements. You have to have some money in hand. You have to do the application, and pretty much you're in. Versus there are other places that need to see bank account statements. I think in Mexico you still have to do that too, but you would actually have to have certain amounts in your bank right now on holding, not just from the statements where you got paid. You would need to make some deposits into their banking system, things like that. You need to read the fine print when it comes to that. So if you're already struggling to figure things out, you want to actually get ready to move to your destination, this is my plug. I have a book. It's called You Too Can Live Abroad. The the book details all pretty much what I'm saying here now, but more in depth as far as what you want to look for, the questions you want to ask yourself. It has some of those things. I have some prompts. It is a really good book for when you are starting the planning process. I'm going to drop that link in the description. It's already there. And it's going to, just click on it, purchase the book. I think it's less than $5. So think about that. We can move on now. I like doing these kind of videos. But all right, let's talk about financial preparation. This is a big one because you don't want to get stuck in a foreign country and you don't have any more money. So if you don't have a stream of income right now, if you're not retired and you're going to have monthly recurring income, then you have to start thinking about how you create monthly recurring income. If you do not have a remote job and you think, oh, I have this lump sum of savings and I'm going to go move abroad on this lump sum of savings, you now need to think about how do you generate another stream of income that can supplement what you're going to have as savings. Because let me tell you, savings runs out quickly, especially if you don't have a budget and a whole budget system going on. And I advise you to budget and figure out what your living costs are going to be every month. Because just like you have living costs where you currently are, you're going to have living costs where you're going. So create a realistic relocation budget, plane tickets, where you're going to stay initially, if it's an Airbnb. Are you going to do a long term lease? Are you going to go somewhere and figure out, do I really like it, and maybe stay a month or two? Um, I think staying somewhere for 3 months, you get a rhythm of what it's going to be, and is this something that you want to do long term? And then also you may go to a place, for instance, like Malaysia, where you have Thailand that's close by, that's a little bit more reasonable as far as affordability. You have Bali, which is a little bit higher, but gives you that beach. Then you can go to like Vietnam, Cambodia. You can go to many different countries and kind of figure out, do I really want to be here? And in most of those places, you either get 30, 60, or 90 days on your temporary visa for traveling. And so you can decide, is this the best place for me? Now, if you're going to move that far, because that's Southeast Asia, then you want to think about like, am I is this a like place that I think I'm really want to be, or do I need to start off closer to home? Especially if you've never lived abroad, do I want to start off closer to home and get, some of the bugs out, and then make some long-term decisions about where I want to go next, and maybe go to Europe. That's only a 6 or 7 hour flight to most places. And then venture out further than that. That's just figuring it out as you go. Or, I'm really set on going to XYZ, and I'm going to make my entire plan around there. There are several ways that you can do this if you want to move abroad. Think about your health insurance, banking considerations, ways to save and increase income before you move. You also want to downsize. People get real crazy when I tell them that they're going to have to downsize. Like, the things that you have not touched in the last 30, 60 days, you honestly don't need those things because you haven't touched them in the last 30 or 60 days. So why are you holding on? Y'all hoarders. Y'all hoarders. Don't do it. It's not a good look. And it makes this process long, long, and long, and it's not necessary. I understand we have attachment issues. Listen, I've been there. I have lived in 3 different countries. I had a whole entire house that I put in storage for 3 years. Paid storage for 3 years because I had attachment issues. I'm telling you not because something I think, I'm telling you something I know. You're paying for because I literally came home on that third year and sold absolutely everything besides my paintings. Anything that had some value to it that I could like resell, I actually kept those things. But everything else, I actually sold. So literally, I paid 3 years for no reason. I don't want you to do that. So I want you to really think long and hard about what you could sell and actually pocket that money now because we not coming back to that same thing. And if we do come back, we come back as a whole nother person. We don't even want that stuff no more. That's all I'm saying. Details about budgets, all of that, how to actually do the downsizing, financial planning, things like that are in my book. So I hope that helps. But I would go to the description and make sure you get the YouTube Can Live Abroad. So moving right along, let's talk about the decluttering and downsizing. I totally would advise that you try to eliminate having storage. And if you can get yourself down to the point where you can like go take your things to a room in a family member's house, I don't know if you want to do that. Or you can get, because the last storage I got was a box. It was 5 by 5 and it was a big locker and it was $35 a month. And that I had put that in my budget, and I figured that was not so massive. I wasn't putting furniture in. I was putting books, shoes, and paintings, and that was that. And honestly, had I not, if I had more time, I probably would have gotten rid of all that other stuff. But I literally only had like less than 60 days in my move. So I got that because that was what I felt comfortable with. And it allowed me to have the things I want. So I really want you to think about decluttering and downsizing. And that is one of the biggest things beyond the finances that people really have a hard time with when they're trying to move abroad. And if you have attachment issues, I say call in reinforce enforcement people who don't have attachment to that stuff and let them go through it and let them get rid of it. That's just some nice advice. Securing documents. You want to make sure that you secure all your documents like your passport, your visa application, your medical records. You want to keep that in a place all together into a special box for that kind of stuff. You want to think about booking your initial accommodations. Maybe you're going to stay at Airbnb for 30 days until you find your bearings. Maybe this is a place that you've gone to in the past and you visited. Now you're talking about relocating there. Um, I advise that you do a scouting trip if at all possible. Maybe it's not feasible if you're going to like go from America to Southeast Asia because of the time difference, because the prices of tickets are much, much higher. But if you're not moving for another year, I would say take time at that 6 month mark, go go view some places so that you understand what we're getting into. If you're moving to somewhere close like Mexico, get on the plane one weekend, go see what you can see. And I really advise not doing sight unseen. Some people are comfortable with that. When I first moved abroad, I, I was going with work, so it was sight unseen. I had never been to Korea in my entire life, and I was going on the other side of the world. So I understand that there are certain situations where you cannot, or you're choosing not to go and see first, but consider that being an option for you. Uh, Plan for all the cultural things because as much as you possibly can. And I say start eating the food of that particular country if you don't do it already. Start going to like their places, for instance, if you were moving to China, there are little Chinatowns in certain cities in America. You can go view them, spend time there, get accustomed to the culture so that, maybe even meet with a meetup group that is around culture and you get to meet more people from that particular area. Sometimes, like for instance, I know like Jamaicans may have a meetup and maybe you're considering Jamaica. So then go to the meetup, start asking questions about the food, start asking the culture about what should I not do? What should I do? You have options and things that you just have to think outside the box. Um, you want to also address some of the things that, like, for instance, what if, what if this happens? Um, how will I deal with safety concerns? What are some of my safety concerns? Start writing a list of questions that you have so that you can start thinking like a person who is moving versus someone who is staying. And even beyond what you've done traveling, we got to think about like family if you're bringing family. What if you're bringing a pet? Some countries, pets are not that friendly. So it may not be a pet friendly country, or it may have some additional costs to move your pet there. Um, Stay away from fear. Stay away from telling everybody your business. And I advise my clients don't tell everybody you moving because people will start projecting what they think and what they feel, and they ain't even hit a block. They haven't went downtown in their own city. So don't tell them about your business. Keep that close to your heart until you actually move and you invite them to your going away party. That's it. Build confidence through preparation and flexibility. Don't allow fearmongers to start telling you that you can't do something, or oh, I heard this on the news, or oh, aren't they bombing that that is not even nowhere close to that. No, don't do it. So I also want to say at this particular point that I am a consultant. I do this for a living. I am an expat. I have lived in 3 different countries. I've traveled to over 29, and I think I can help you. If you just want to ask questions and you want to get a lay of the land, think about things that you haven't even thought about, two heads are better than one. Please considering booking a consultation with me and we can talk about what your needs, wants, or desires are, and I can help you with the preparation. So, and all of that is in my description. So, I hope that you're starting to get a better understanding of how you can move forward. But really, it comes down to the planning and preparation because just like, if you were to move to the next neighborhood or to the next city or to the next state, you need to plan and prepare for that move. You need to do the same thing when you get ready to move across the world to a different country. But it's going to take a couple more steps. So, and if you've never done this before, you don't know what you don't know. And in this situation, what you don't know could really hurt you. So I would take this to heart and to not to scare you or to deter you, but to prepare you because you can move abroad in 6, 9, or 12 months. You just have to really think about where you want to go, what you want to do when you get there, how you want your life set up. And then you have to really think about the fact that you're going to another country. And I liken it to if you've gone to college. When you first left home, the adjustment process is pretty much the same. You got to fill out, create a foundation. You have to, learn your roots to and from places. You have to get acquainted with the people. You need to build community. You have to settle in. Same thing happens when you move abroad. The, the difference is that there may be a different language. It may be a language barrier. There may be some bureaucracy with paperwork and all kinds of shenanigans that you like. In America, it's just like this. And now you cannot compare where you're going to where you came from. That's a no no. But I'd say this, everything's doable as long as you have an approach. So, the best suggestion I can give to you is have a playbook on how you want to move forward and do it. Don't allow anybody to deter you. Don't start thinking about all the things that could go wrong because then they possibly will. Because what you focus on, you bring towards you. Think about what it is that you want to do. Making a decision to leave America is not easy. It's not for the faint of hearts, but planning your relocation doesn't have to be overwhelming. Whether you're ready to do it in 6 months or 9 months or even 12, taking a year to prepare, you deserve to to take this time and actually give it a shot versus letting it go thinking, "Oh, I got time," because tomorrow's not promised to anyone. Um I think that if you value your deepest desires, you should make them happen. Again, I have a book called You Too Can Live Abroad. This is a perfect resource. It will help you through this process. And like I said, I think it's less than, I think it's $7. So you can go to my description, click on the link, and it's downloadable. You don't even have to purchase it to be delivered. It is also on Amazon, which is a little bit more expensive. But if you need to personalize your guidance and you want to connect with an actual human being who can answer questions based off of 15 years of experience, then please go down and click on how to work with me or you know, get my assistance. And I'll be glad to answer any questions. I have a discovery call where we can sit and chit chat about what you want to do. And maybe you need my help throughout the process. If you're moving to Malaysia and you actually need somebody to help you find a place, help you get your visa, do all the things in a more comprehensive plan, then I can assist you with that. If not, and you think you want to go for it yourself, I totally understand that too. But I really want you to make the best decision for you and your family. And I hope that you just do it, however you do it. Just do it. But this is not the time for you to allow fear to set in. This is not the time to, and I'm going to make this preference. If you're looking at the current political climate and you want to make a decision based off of, I don't want to be here in this political climate, I get it. But what I also tell people to do is not to make decisions off of emotions. Make decisions logically. Move forward with logic and preparation. That's going to be the best thing for you. I also have a checklist. It's a free checklist that's also in my description that will help you think about being an expat and what you need to take with you, what you should get rid of. It is also there. And until next time, live your best life, follow your heart, make the best decisions for you, and there are no regrets. We keep moving forward. Until next time, bye bye for now.